Hello everybody from my new temporary shop, thankfully, in Colorado. I just moved from Kansas City to Colorado. That's why I've been absent on YouTube lately, and I apologize for that, but the move took a lot out of me. I'm in a very, very small shop. We have a 2-car garage in our apartment, or on our apartment, under our apartment, and it is completely filled with boxes back behind the camera. I've got a little workbench behind me. The camera's actually sitting on my CNC machine, so it is crammed in here. But I wanted to share with everybody two things. First off, I did get my guitar painted. So this is the Crimson kit guitar. It's a PRS style. I got it tinted and cleared when I was in Kansas City right before I left. So trying to get that in the camera so you can see it. It came out just wonderful. I had to use a Harbor Freight gun because my main paint gun was having all kinds of issues. It kept dripping paint in the middle of a paint job, and I just couldn't have that. So I bought a cheapo Harbor Freight. And all the paint ran. I knew it would. I was aware of it, and I wound up getting all the runs out, but sanded through a little bit of the clear. So I do have to re-clear the guitar, but I am gonna finish it, wire it up, play it, and have those videos. I have all those videos in the can. I just need to edit them, and I'm sorry with the move, I haven't been able to edit anything, so I do have them. I will put them up for everybody who's been waiting on that series. I've been getting a lot of emails about it, and I'm excited to play the guitar, much less get it done and kind of out of my hair. It takes me about a year to go from concept to production on the stuff that I make, on the tools and things like that. And it's because I have a full-time job. I don't get to build guitars full-time, unfortunately, yet, but I do have a full-time job, so I do all this stuff in my spare time. And I also fix people's guitars. I do my own builds and edit YouTube videos and everything else. But over the last year, I've been developing with my machinist some notch straight edges. And I think, like a lot of people out there, I started with something like this. I bought a straight edge at Home Depot. I cut reliefs in it, you know, just kind of held it up to a fretboard, cut reliefs in it, and then I flattened it out. I took a piece of paper on a table saw, a really long piece of sandpaper, and flattened it out so I could get it as flat as I could. They're okay, they work, they'll get you real close, but like a lot of the other tools that I make, I wanted to take a traditional tool and make it better. And that's where I came up with these. A lot of guys out there make these, some guys just like me, making them in their garage, kind of on the side, and they do a good job at it, but most of them make them out of thinner material. They're about 1/8 inch. So what happens is sometimes those get a little twist in them, and when they get a twist in them, they're just not accurate anymore. And I wanted a way to make this tool better. So I beveled the edges of it. I'm using thicker material. This is 3/16. It doesn't flex like the other ones. If you've got one, you know exactly what I mean. They make them out of 1/8 inch material. Just that extra 16th just makes them, I don't know, a lot more robust. When you hold it in your hand, it feels like a tool. The other ones kind of don't. Nothing wrong with those tools. I love the guys who make those tools, but I wanted something that would be on my bench forever. So I also put an anodize on here, an orange anodize, surprise orange, but that actually makes the surface harder. And we hand lap on a surface plate these edges, so they are dead flat. My machinist took his dial indicator and shot a video for me, and I'll try and put it right on top of this one. But he was varying somewhere around a 10,000th of an inch over a 16-inch piece of material. So a human hair is 3/1000ths. So a 30th of a human hair is how much these vary from end to end. They are just dead flat. The material doesn't move. I've got 3 versions. This one here is the Martin. So it's the long scales, the 664 and the 660 millimeter scales. I just made a couple of these prototypes because somebody asked me if I would, so we did. This one is the Fender Gibson scale, so Fender on the bottom, Gibson on the top. This one's probably the most popular. You see a ton of these out there. You also see some Chinese manufacturers, and I'll tell you, man, I buy the competition, I buy the tools. because I want to see what I'm up against. And you can spend your money on them. You'll probably wish you hadn't. This is the PRS scale, so the 25-inch on the bottom, the 24.5 on the top. And again, all of these are hand lapped, all of these are just dead flat, anodized, super nice. I'm going to be packaging them with my fret rockers, which again, same standards in terms of flatness. These have a little scale on the bottom for string height. It's in 64ths. I like it because it's easy for me to read. I'm getting old like everybody else out there, and this just shows up, and you can slide it and see where you're at, and you can see how close you are without having to squint and use magnifiers. That's why I like these. And then I also have just my sanding beams, and these are the same flatness down here. I can tell you, yes, you can make your own. You can make them out of aluminum tube that you might buy at Home Depot or your metal supplier or whatever. When we give these the initial sanding on the surface plate, you can see generally there's a cup to it, and generally from end to end there's some issue. They're just not flat when you buy the stock. Aluminum extrusions aren't flat. I also make mine with the rounded edges, which the material's much more expensive than the square edges. I just don't want to see anybody nick their frets as they're doing fret work, because your paper might wrap around the edges and you know, you can ruin some good work. I sell these. They come with 2 strips of 180, 2 strips of 400. You can put one on each side, both sides dead flat. I make a 6-inch for doing like the fall away, 12th fret and higher. So you can do fall away without having to worry about wrecking your guitar or running into your pickups. I make them in a 12 and a 16-inch as well. A lot of people like the 12 because it gets most of the frets at one time. The 16, it's gonna bang almost every single fret at the same time. So these are super nice. They just get more expensive, and I realize that. That's why I make them in different sizes. Some people don't want to spend 50 or 60 bucks on a sanding beam. They want to get away less expensive, and that's why I make them in all different sizes. I think when I visited PRS, I think they did all their fret work with a 6-inch. So you can do super high quality work with small tools. I am going to be putting them together in kits. I'll sell the notch straight edges alone. Skyscraperguitars.com if you've never been there before. But I'm going to kit everything up. You'll get a little discount if you buy a fret rocker, a notch straight edge, and a sanding beam. And this week, and this week only, I'm going to be doing 10% off on these tools, and it's just for the people out there who watch the channel. If you want some super high quality tools, it's what I can do. These are expensive for me to make. My margins aren't very high. 10% is a discount that I feel a little bit, but I feel I want to pay it back. So if you want some of these, I'll have them on sale this week. They'll be individual tools. They'll be in packages. Just use the code notched. All caps, how about that? All caps, notched. And that'll be this week's code. You can get 10% off, and I'll be shipping them all out this week. So, thanks for checking everything out, guys. Rock on!